Hey, what's going on, family and friends? Ray Fuentes here. I'm back with another raw update on Linqto's bankruptcy. Over the weekend, I dug through more court filings, and some things just don't add up. This video is needed because I'm watching people sell their claims for pennies on the dollar, kissing away their potential upsides. That's their choice, but it hurts to see. Up on the screen here is the schedules of assets and liabilities and the statements of financial affairs for Linqto Liquidshares LLC, the current SPV manager for the SPVs available on Linqto's platform, granting claim rights to the underlying securities one for one. This schedule was designed to identify what's inside Linqto Liquidshares LLC and to reveal something important, a combined pool of customer assets plus Linqto assets totaling $685,273,842.50, valued at fair market value as of June 30th, 2025. The core question I want to hammer home is simple. What portion of that total is truly Linqto customer assets and what portion is Linqto's corporate treasury? Yes, Linqto sold the rights to the underlying securities of private companies through their tech-enabled platform. The schedule lists assets that as of June 30th, 2025 were already public or valued using fair market value at that date. Market to market appears to be the method used for the current value snapshot. Let's talk about Circle. On June 30th, the high was $192.50 per share for the now public stock. The schedule shows a total Circle position of $106,642,323.48 under the control of Linqto Liquidshares LLC. Divide that by $192.50 and you get roughly 553,986 shares. My question, how many of those shares belong to Linqto's corporate treasury and how many belong to customers? Now let's talk about Chime. Here's where it gets odd. Even though this schedule uses fair market value as of June 30th, 2025, Chime went public on June 12th. Why isn't Chime listed under public equities like the rest? Is this a reporting error by the SPV manager, Linqto Liquidshares LLC, aka Dan Siciliano? If so, this needs to be corrected ASAP, because right now, it's wrong as presented. Using the same math, the schedule shows $654,827 for Chime. On June 30th, Chime's fair market value was about $36 per share. That implies roughly 18,189 shares. Again, of those 18,000 shares, how many are in Linqto's corporate treasury versus customer assets? And why isn't Chime categorized correctly on the schedule? Those are the questions. I've also seen a wave of emails and text messages from Epic. Some of you are assigning your claims to claims buying firms. If you need immediate liquidity, I get it, but for the long-term holders, the fact that multiple firms want to buy your claims right now should validate the thesis that these assets have real value. If that's not a bullish signal, I don't know what is. Another observation, check Linqto's listing in Apple's App Store. It now reads, The Fund. Looks like current marketing, if still staffed, is shifting language towards a fund structure. Were those changes made after the bankruptcy notice? Interesting timing. Now let's be adults about the markups. We've understood Linqto charged front-end markups to keep the lights on and scale, sourcing deals, investing as a principal, then packaging into special purpose vehicles for customers globally. The model made sense. That's why many of us also invested in Linqto the company. I did because I loved the product experience and curated access to private equity. In many ways, Linqto operated like a fund of funds. As a principal investor, by investing in Linqto, you had exposure to a blend of platform assets, or at least that was certainly applied to top investors. I was one of them. We had direct access to Linqto leadership, including Telegram chats before they were closed ahead of the bankruptcy. This screenshot is of a message from Linqto board member Joe Endoso. This message lives on in my personal Discord server. For added context, I had built a Discord server way back in December of 2021, before my employment at Linqto in 2022. After being let go in April of 2024 in result of a mass layoff, I was then asked by Linqto leadership to rebrand my Discord server back to my personal brand. I made sure I confirmed all the communications in writing. Feel free to join my Discord server using the links in the description below or in my profile. So if it turns out Linqto doesn't have a meaningful corporate treasury separate from customer assets, that's a serious issue. And here's another fun find for my weekend of digging for Linqto Gold. This one's a post from Linqto's board member Joe Endoso around the time Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. Joe publicly stated that the SPVs, Linqto's customer investments, were custodied with a third-party custodian, in that case Millennium Trust. Linqto's brokerage-style cash accounts are custodied at JP Morgan Chase, so it makes sense if JP Morgan Chase were to step in and provide custody services for the SPVs themselves, given their deep bench of financial services. Now, if you're wondering how I got to this page, because whoever's running Linqto's current marketing doesn't seem to want you to find this page. Let me show you. The original page has been scrubbed from the site. I searched the web for Linqto JP Morgan because I remember Joe talking about their partnership during a top investor meeting. When you click the link today, the page is gone. It just dumps you on a picture of Dan Siciliano's face. So I copied the old URL and went to the Internet archive Wayback Machine to see if there was a snapshot, and sure enough, there it was. The post preserved. It's amazing what you can surface with free tools. The truth always has a way of reappearing. A third-party custodian should have a ledger of Linqto customer accounts, and so should the current SPV manager, Linqto Liquidshares LLC, overseen by Dan Siciliano. Two independent data trails, which are exactly the kind of reconciliations I would imagine the Texas bankruptcy courts are focused on right now. Switching gears, here's Linqto's board member Karim Noorani talking about the early days, building banking solutions and connecting credit unions nationwide.
So I'm going to start actually with a background of Linqto, because that'll give us an idea of why I'm here after you hear a little bit about my journey. So in 2016 or 2017, I became an early investor in Linqto. At that time, we were building the back-end plumbing for regional banks and financial institutions that didn't have the power of the big five as we know it in the US. We were making money, but not enough to be a growth company that we would like to believe that we're involved with to take it to the next level. So we retooled the infrastructure in 2019, and we built a financial marketplace platform, and we originally termed it Acorns to Unicorns. And as investors and limited partners that we are, basically accredited investors who would like to make investments, we found that the opportunity to access mid to late stage growth companies. Now think, when I say that mid to late stage companies, before companies become a public company, for example, Robinhood, Coinbase, Marqeta, SoFi, NerdWallet, Ripple.
Linqto wasn't just shipping out serious applications, they were winning awards, including the Monarch Innovation Award in 2015, an honor that big banks like Citibank and JP Morgan had won in prior years. In other words, Linqto is not some fly-by-night shop. They've got deep resources, and the organization is steered by seasoned operators who are trying to leave a dent in the universe. I also had to use the Wayback Machine to locate some of these screenshots, since some of these pages have been recently taken down as well. There's also been some noise from various commentators. People have their perspectives and their histories. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. My focus is on the documents, ledgers, and the facts, not talking heads. For balance, I'll add this. Bill Saris isn't some random operator. He built Intuit's bill pay solutions and various technologies for globally recognized brands. Here's a clip of Bill Saris confirming his achievements.
But something to remember and think about with Linqto is we formed in 2010. We're not just a 2-year-old company. We built the ACH and wire transfer system for Digital Insight, the bill pay for Intuit, the business banking system for NCR. We have a very deep engineering background in technology that relates to sensitive financial information. It's in the DNA that everything is protected, that we meet all the regs and things we need to do.
This doesn't grant immunity from the scrutiny around Linqto's bankruptcy, but it matters. Likewise, you'll find public comments from Joe Endoso recommending investors to build diversified portfolios, mirroring how Linqto invested itself.
Once we acquire the shares, Tony, we put the shares in a Delaware LLC, in an SPV that we manage. And then we basically go to our investment community and say, hey, do you like this company? Here are the reasons why we like it. If you agree and you want to invest, come in and buy units of this SPV, and you end up becoming a fractional owner of that SPV shareholding.
This logic implies that Linqto maintained its own treasury separate from customer funds. Next up, I'm going to play a short interview sent to me by a fellow Linqto investor, James Rule XRP. The takeaway is simple. In this clip, a private equity investor explains how he just bought his first Linqto bankruptcy claim, which right away tells you a lot about his incentives. Roll the tape.
Today, apparently there are some updates on our fabulous new bankruptcy we're covering called Linqto.
I've been following this. I bought my first claim in the case. The CEO of Linqto is a new CEO since the bankruptcy happened. Seems like an honest, cool guy. I don't know him. Dan Siciliano. He is pushing for 2 potential directions for this to go in. They will need to find a bankruptcy and post-emergence financing option, and the only one that really will be available to Linqto is going to be to dig into customer property. Just like in all of the crypto bankruptcies, it's going to be the same thing. I personally do not believe, but I could be wrong, I'd love to be wrong, that they're going to be able to segregate each asset for each unit holder. They're going to have to come up with a very cost-effective plan. The way to do that is like some sort of VC fund that everybody has a claim in, and then valuing those claims. If you're getting the how much you invested claim versus petition date claim, I think that's a little unfair. It's an exercise that's going to cost millions of dollars. So where is that money going to come from?
What do you think?
I don't know.
Now ask yourself this, why would someone be buying Linqto claims if they're supposedly fearful and doubtful of the outcome? In my view, he's pushing a narrative designed to separate you from your assets at a discount. He also says that this is like every other bankruptcy case, which it isn't, and his decision to buy these claims underscores that. This dude is literally betting on the fact that he's wrong, not that he's right. Call it what you want, this sounds like claims vulture behavior that I've been warning you about. And it's fitting, isn't it, that this kind of analysis is coming from a platform where the host is literally vaping on camera during a production. So credible. I wouldn't be surprised if this message was endorsed by Dan Siciliano, the current SPV manager of Linqto Liquidshares LLC, the big man with all the power. Because this is where the power sits right now. Dan holds all the authority over distributions. Under his watch, we were told that the SPVs were set up incorrectly, while many of us have documents that say otherwise. If this isn't corrected back to the original one-for-one promise, then in my view, the Texas court system is effectively allowing this to happen. So where does all of this leave us? I'm staying optimistic that through the Texas bankruptcy courts, I believe that we can reach a resolution that starts with full transparency from the current SPV manager, Dan Siciliano, and a clean reconciliation of customer assets versus corporate treasury. Then we can insist on series by series treatment and one-for-one delivery of our shares or proceeds exactly as they're represented. Otherwise, we risk seeing another company run the same playbook as Linqto, a zero-debt outfit sliding behind bankruptcy laws. The proverbial take the money and run. This is our chance to change the rules and leave a dent in the universe. I hope the Unsecured Creditors Committee wakes up and smells the roses. As accredited investors, we played by the rules, yet we're fed a narrative about how it's unfair to non-accredited investors. And now we're faced with somehow allowing Linqto to shove us all under one roof, one fund. If we sit back and let this happen, we fail the next generation of investors. Anyways, there's more to come, I'm sure of it. Keep your records tight and stay skeptical of social media spins and read the filings yourself. As always, love you mucho.